Hey everybody, it's Melissa Sorrentino, the Improv Sophisticate, here to talk to you about improv and life and how the two correlate. Yes, today's conversation is about instincts. Instincts. Okay, so people, I think, some people look at instincts as if they're like not real, as if it's some sort of like she frou concept, like, oh, you know, your instincts. It's totally real, okay? I mean, obviously, I'm not a scientist, I'm not an expert, but clearly instincts, reflexes, these are things that are wired into our brains, into our nervous system, into our bodies. So if you're more a science person than like a she frou person, for me, it's all one and the same, so I really don't struggle with that. But, for those of you who have some sort of like hang up that instincts are some sort of hippie thing, I don't know, I would suggest that you stay tuned because I want to talk about it in a rather practical sense. Of course, I want to talk about how it pertains to improv. Instincts. There are three places, I believe, in the physical body where instincts manifest themselves most strongly, primarily the brain, the solar plexus, and the gut. Okay, so I'm not a big expert on the gut and the solar plexus and all that stuff, so I'm just really not going to go there except to say that my, am I really going to say? My knowledge of those things is rather instinctive to me, and because throughout the years there's a regular sense of consistency that when I really actually value the communication from this area and from this area, it actually you know, it's fairly consistent. There's like a lingo that my body and I have with each other, and when I say that, I'm already there, you guys. My head is already in the clouds. I'm like, and when I say I in my body, it's like, what's the difference? There's an I, capital I, there's an I am going on in here somewhere, or up there that I'm channeled into. I don't know. But instinctively, I get sensations. I get like, you know, clearly I'll get a stiffness here or a burning sensation. These are like emotional communiques, and you know, emotions are important for us to listen to because they are what drive our choices, our decisions, often our safety. Down here in the gut, that's something where I feel things that are more deep, and when I say deep, I think they're more long-term things. I think if you ignore this area talking to you, or you listen too much to this while you're ignoring this, it sort of goes together, and then you get nausea, and you get like, ugh, you know, and that's when you're like, oh crap, you know, I'm maybe I'm in a long-term situation that I need to either just, adjust, confront, or get the hell out of. You know, or maybe it's a gut feeling that there's something you need to embrace that you're not embracing. So that's what the gut's saying. The solar plexus, I think, is a little more real time. It's not like most of a storage unit. It's more of just like a pass through. Wow, I guess none of this is scientific, but I must be channeling something right now because I'm able to verbalize more than I thought I'd be able to. Now, let's get to this guy, this brain thing here. Okay, we have neurotransmissions, like transmissions that communicate with each other. And in the brain, there are actual neuroconnections. And if our neuroconnections connect a lot frequently, that becomes habitual, that becomes automatic, and it becomes like really just like locked in. I don't want to say permanent, because my whole point is that it's not as permanent as you might think, and I know this from personal experience. I have purposely reprogrammed my brain in many areas, and it's reprogrammed now, and I'm like, I have automatic thoughts that are far more proactive, positive, maybe even just more timely. We have to recognize and be fair that maybe our parents downloaded stuff from our grandparents and so on and so forth. And that shit's like old, like it's getting kind of old and worn out, and it's time to like update the status of some of those neurotransmissions. Like maybe what worked in the 50s doesn't work now. So we need to like unwire that one, maybe pick a different wire and connect to that, unwire, and reconnect new, fresh wiring that pertains to us personally, that pertains to who we are, that pertains to the lives that we want and the lives that we're, stuck in. We have certain things that are specific to us, specific to our time, our placement, our, our personality, our natural like DNA, and of course our wiring. So I suggest wiring has a lot to do with instincts. Now, for instincts, all right, we have the brain wiring, and I want to say something about that. Often when we're trying to retrain ourselves, and I'm going to just sort of step into the field of improv. Let's pretend we're in an improv class and we're talking about actual real-time improv. You guys have been doing exercises. We're talking about this. We're taking a minute. We're going to just check in, okay? We are learning new things. Whenever we're improving, whether it's in a class or just life, until we're dead, hopefully we're still on the pathway to improving. So anytime we improve, it means we are editing what was and reframing it to what we want it to be, which is hopefully an improvement, like something better, something that we like better than what we're doing now. So as we improve, we're unwiring old things and we're rewiring new things. Or we're wiring new, fresh wiring that's like, here's my improv area where I'm going to start putting that together so that machine functions. So when I'm on the stage and I hop up there, boom, I put on my improv hat or whatever analogy you like, and you embody your best improviser. Now, as we're learning new things and unlearning old things, I have a suggestion, and that is that you trust your instincts. Now, there's something about trusting your own instincts that is already there for you. And I want you to feel confident in that. You don't have to do the work. You don't have to do all the work. You can step aside and allow your body and brain to do its job. It's very similar to like skin problems, okay? People who have skin problems, who pick the skin problems, tend to end up making the skin problems worse. Often if you leave it alone and you trust your body to heal the blemish, you might put a little assist there in some way with, your medications or whatever. But other than just sort of like a mild assist, the major part of the changing, of the healing of your skin has got to be left to your skin. You can't get in the way of that. You've got to let those skin cells rejuvenate, renew, take their time, do what they need to do. That's for healing for anything in the body, and that's also for learning. We are actually created for learning. And by learning, one of the things that really works is positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. And sometimes the only thing that's a positive reinforcement is that this feels nice. And the negative reinforcement is that feels like crummy. So if you're in a scene and you're like, you feel stiff, that's different than when you're in a scene and it's like, oh, it's just flowing and it's flowing and it's fun. That is positive reinforcement. Hey, what did I do there? And then the negative reinforcement is like, ooh, what did I do there? But I'm suggesting that rather than cerebrally trying to put it together yourself, you just kind of let your body do its own thing a little bit. So after a show, after a class, my suggestion is that you take some space from that part of your brain that's very busy working on that improv machine. Just take some space from that and allow it to just digest, mull, unprogram, reprogram. Allow your brain and allow your like guts to communicate with each other and do their job. They already know how. That's what I really want to enforce with this particular video. We can get into some other subjects about instincts and about specifically on stage, like when you're in a moment. You know, I'm just not going to go down that road because I'm trying to keep these a little bit shorter. But my main point is this: trust your instincts. Trust your body to communicate with itself and do its job. And if you get out of the way, you'll be surprised that your body can do it faster and more efficiently than you can. So let go. All right, babes. Love you all very much. This is the Improv Sophisticate playlist. I also have a divorce diary, and I have an entry that I'm about to record for that. So that's going to be interesting, something that I learned yesterday in my divorce journey. So that's another playlist that you guys can check out if you're interested. All right, take care. Trust your instincts. Talk to you later. Bye.